us for years that time management is the key to success. While time is important, it isn't the ultimate key to success. There's something much deeper that plays a true that plays truly that divide. Wow, words are just tumbling around. Bottom line, there's something else that is more beneficial to succeeding than simply time management. So stick around for this live stream, this video, to discover what exactly am I talking about. So, I'm Olivia Ridd. I'm currently a third year undergraduate student who has two majors and a minor. And the reason why I'm talking about time management right now is because there has been moments throughout my educational journey where people are like, oh, you have to manage your time. You have to do time management. It's a great skill to have and yada, 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 right? Here's the thing. They talk about time management so much that they simply mention it. They never discuss what exactly it is and necessarily how it contributes to success. To me, the way I basically have people have advertised time management to me is that that's the one thing you need to have to be successful, which that isn't the case. It may be one factor, but if you solely have only time management skills, that doesn't directly mean you will be successful. And as earlier I mentioned, people just threw around this word, time management, or you have to manage your time, similar wording of the same phrase. And it was never necessarily described what exactly that means. So I'll share with y'all right now. Time management is how you are organizing your time for scheduled things. This could be, are you having early morning classes, but you're not an early morning person, so that's not like effective time management. Or having evening classes when you know that's generally when you prefer to study. That doesn't make sense. Another thing is, for example, when it comes to making videos, you want to make sure, personally for me, I don't want the dishwasher going on because it makes a loud noise, or I don't want the washing machine or the dryer to be on because where I'm currently located, it like echoes throughout the whole apartment, and it doesn't make for great quality audio while trying to make a video and having the dryer going on. So that's not great time management, as in I shouldn't be doing the laundry while making a video. Now, time management is a concept of knowing exactly how to organize your time throughout the day. People make it seem like, oh, you have to have concrete schedule time for everything. Where in reality, it could be, oh, I have an hour or two to eat food, relax, make the food, and then I'm off to my next classes, in a sense. With that being said, I feel like there's a trap to time management of where you schedule time, but then once you schedule a certain event saying, oh, I have to have my homework being done between 2 and 4 p.m. There's moments where it feels like it's trapped, like you cannot do anything else. Like all of a sudden that homework is like locked in for between 2 and 4 p.m. of your day. And you like can't possibly do anything else, which is false. You should be able to have flexibility in your schedule. Now, if you have like concrete scheduling in your day, that's different. Like if you have concrete times for meetings, okay, those are obviously things that cannot be flexible or not as easily changeable throughout your day or even throughout your week. So those are different. We're discussing about times and scheduling where you could easily change it on the go and it will be fine. Because there's going to be moments of where you've made this perfect schedule of, oh, it's always organized, you have exactly You know exactly when you're going to classes, you know exactly when you're going to make your food, you're going to eat it, when you're going to relax, when you're going to do your homework, when you're going to go to the gym, when you're going to hang out with friends. You have it all scheduled out. But here's the thing. As you live day to day, you've noticed life doesn't go as you plan. Even if you understand yourself perfectly. If you're saying that and you're having difficulty with time management, I would argue that you don't know yourself perfectly, or the best that you could. Because if you know yourself quite well, you'll know that even if you make an organized schedule that's like perfect for that day, you have to know that things could change rapidly throughout your life, no matter how you plan and prepare for it. Meaning, you might have to push back lunch, or something comes up in the evening and you have to do your homework earlier, like in between your classes. You have to be willing to make those adjustments, and knowing, even say, you don't know if something's gonna change yet because nothing has come up, nothing has been rescheduled or anything, but you have this feeling that, I have 20 minutes before my first class. I can't quite finish this assignment, but what I could do is start on the assignment before my next class starts. And that's why I prefer to, when I go from one class to the other and it's still in like that break period where everyone's transitioning between classes and still arriving, I like to get to my class, my next one, as early as possible, sit there, and then what I do is I pull up my laptop or my iPad, depending if I'm doing chemistry or assignments or other assignments for other classes. And I sit there and I just work on whatever I could, or even just responding back to emails. And I work until my professor for the upcoming class that I'm waiting for, and I'm sitting in that room, starts talking. Because sometimes professors, they start talking right before, like a minute or two before the scheduled time, because they see that most of the seats are full, or they recognize that everyone's here that will be there that day. And so I just start working, and I work until my next class starts. Because even if nothing changes later in the day and the schedule still is how it is, I still completed something, and I don't have to like start a whole assignment. I could start doing that assignment right where I left off before my class started, like later in the day, go back to it, and feel honestly refreshed that, hey, I have 20 minutes of this assignment already completed. 20 minutes where I would have taken in my between 2 and 4 p.m. that I had scheduled, which means I could potentially either finish my scheduled time of working on assignments early, or I could start something else or work on a project that isn't due for a little bit, but hey, I have 20 extra minutes to do it because I took the time in 20 minutes before my class to just work on my assignments. And the reason why I'm saying time management isn't the ultimate key to success is because you could schedule the most perfect day. That doesn't mean it would be the most effective way to organize that day, because you could be feeling really crappy in the morning. And then all of a sudden, you have everything you had to get done for a whole day in half of a day, because all of a sudden you start feeling better in the afternoon. Because sometimes that happens. Maybe you just need to sleep in a little bit more because your body needs some recovering that just didn't complete in the amount of time you gave yourself to sleep. Because sleep is important, since that gives our body the time to recover and encode everything, which is why they suggest learning and then go taking a nap. Because that's when your body's taking the time to encode all that information you just gathered into your brain and storing it properly in the right areas and making those connections, and transmitters are strengthening with that knowledge. Of course, if relooking at the information and fully understanding and making other connections, but that's a different topic that we'll not get into today. But if you do want to learn more about that, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll see about making a video about that in the future. Now, going back to time management. Yes, it's great to have a schedule, but basically, that's not just everything you need to do. When it comes to time management, it's one of the components to being successful, but in order to be successful, you need to have the understanding of who you are and your actions and behaviors. And then also taking note of what assignments you have to do or what tasks you have to do. Because when it comes to that 2 hours of doing homework, you don't want to be planning which assignments you're doing next. You want to have that already prepared. So when it comes to that 2 to 4 p.m. schedule for homework, you start with the homework and you're not looking at which assignments you have to do because it's already planned out. So that's one thing, is being prepared. Another thing is noticing when your energy is like high in the day and when it's low or when it's in the middle. Because if you're doing your energy when you feel so low, like you have no energy, like say you go through your classes, then you do your homework, but you haven't had a proper meal in a long time, your energy is going to be so low to the point where you're going to feel like, what's the point of even doing homework, because you're not focused and all you can think about is food. There, you may have scheduled like the perfect day. You go from classes, you go from homework, and then you go to eating a proper meal. But you didn't take the time to recognize that your energy is slowly going down throughout the day until you give it more energy through your food and having proper food and a proper meal, that by the time you're at the homework, you don't have the same concentration levels or focus levels, because all that energy is close to gone at that point. And if you were to put even just having a few snacks while studying or doing that homework can make the big difference on how you will answer your assignments, or even the concentration levels and how much time it will take you to finish those assignments. All right. So in a sense, yes, time management, they're going to talk to you about it, that you have to have great time management skills. Instead of strictly focusing on time management, focus on smart actions of noticing when are you the most focused, because that's when you should be either scheduling your classes for those times, or that's when you should be doing your homework and your studying times and just doing all the tasks you need to do for school that teachers assigned, that you need to do outside of the classroom. All right. Another thing is investing into your resources, and like, for example, I think if your university uses Canvas, you could easily connect it to Google Calendar. I've heard a few students, like peers, talked about this, and they've shared me some productivity hacks about that, of how you could connect your Canvas to Google Calendar if you don't like the Canvas calendar. Because the reason for that is you'll see when your assignments are, and as well as your exams. And so you could also add study times and homework assignments that maybe necessarily don't have a due date just because the teacher didn't put it into like that assignment, but there's still things you have to get done. But maybe it's not like a turn in assignment, it's more like prepare this before the next class type of assignment. And so you can add to those as well. And then another thing that I talked about in yesterday's live stream, when we were discussing, multitasking and talking about task switching, I discussed the method Pomodoro technique, which I'll get more into that in a later video. But with that being said, we are going to finish off today's live stream. So before you click off of this video, remember that time management is just one piece of the puzzle. It isn't necessarily everything when it comes to success. Success is driven by more than how well you schedule your day. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and monitoring your energy levels, and staying resilient. So what's one thing you're going to prioritize differently today? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.